Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Drops of Wellness Wisdom. I'm Joy with Dorothy, and we are talking about food a lot this season. So we're excited to have you here. If you enjoy these, please share the episode with your friends and always press the like and the subscribe buttons below. We appreciate you and we love our audience, and we would love questions too. If you have any questions about anything we're discussing here.
Definitely. Yeah, we love questions, or if there's anything more that you would like us to dive further in, let us know in the comments too. And again, Joy and I were talking a little bit before we got on camera, and we just wanted to reiterate, and I'm sure we've said this probably ad nauseum before, but any information that we give is our own personal opinions, and it's never intended to try and tell you how to eat or what choices to make. It's my whole, as a coach and as an educator, what I like to do is just give people information to help them make an educated choice rather than just thinking what they think is what might be right. Help them get more information so that they can make an educated decision for what works for them, not what works for me or what works for Joy or what works for neighbor Sally. Just have this information, use it in a way that will help you make decisions that work for you and your life and your body. So I just wanted to say that again, and anything we say is given to you in that light. So today I believe we are talking about, we went sort of the meat heavy last episode. We talked about carnivore and keto. Today we are going to be talking more on the other end of the spectrum about veganism and vegetarianism in all its forms. So Joy, you want to share a little bit about kind of the intricacies of what those might mean?
Yes, thank you. And thank you for that waiver comment, because I think that's important for people to know. My personal experience with vegetarianism is I'm related to a couple of vegetarians, and they happen to be my big sisters, and they are much older than I am. One's 14 years older and one's 16 years older. So they were like everything, as growing up. Whatever they did, I wanted to do. And they decided in their late teens, early 20s to be vegetarians. So it was kind of when they were launching onto their own. And it meant whenever they came home, my mom would have to think the menu. And she kind of embraced it differently because it gave her a nice vegetable focused meal. So they always ate clean, organic as much as possible, grew a lot of their own vegetables. It was veggies, veggies, veggies. So that's like, to me, the definition of vegetarian is you just eat a bunch of vegetables, you add in rice and beans or things like that once in a while, nuts. So that was like, oh, that's what vegetarianism is. Fast forward, when I met my husband, I met a cousin or someone in his family was a vegetarian, and I was like, oh, so are we having salad or whatever? And she was like eating Oreo cookies and garbage. Her idea of being a vegetarian was don't eat meat, but eat whatever else you want, even food-like products. So I was like, oh, no, no, that doesn't seem right. That's not a good idea. So I saw that and observed that. I never actually stuck to a strict vegetarian diet. I love hanging out with my sisters, and if they're cooking and we're cooking together and it's all vegetarian, it's going to be delicious, and that's fine. It wasn't for me. My daughter did experiment with it for a little while, but now she's married to a chef and he cooks everything and she eats everything. So I think it's kind of cool how we as humans can evolve our diet, and we are, as Dorothy said last time, opportunistic omnivores, which is just a cool way of understanding, okay, that makes sense to me now. We can eat kind of whatever's available, and our bodies know how to consume it, digest it, and use it. Veganism is another sort of other end to me of vegetarianism. You eliminate any animal products. So that means no dairy at all, meaning no butter. Um,
A world without cheese.
No, no ice cream, which we don't really need ice cream anyway, so that's fine. With my sisters, like one of them forever, she wasn't eating eggs, and she recently, in recent years, decided her body needed eggs, so she started getting farm fresh eggs and eating those. So that was like a cool way of like paying attention to what your body needs. There's terms and words for all the different types, like the kind that eat eggs, the kind that don't eat eggs, but eat dairy, and then the vegan is the type that doesn't eat any eggs, meat, dairy, anything related to animals. But as Dorothy has said in conversations, vegetables are alive when you get them. So I know with my sisters, they were in this mind of not wanting to eat anything living not to kill an animal for their food. So that's what started their journey. But they just feel good, they do well with it, and it works for them. So I think again, it's just a cool thing that as humans we can kind of eat whatever suits us.
Absolutely, 100%. And we're all individuals and depending on our so many factors in our own personal bodies, not least of which the contents of our microbiome determine on what foods are absolutely going to be optimal for you. So it's going to be different. Even you and your twin sister have different microbiomes. So everybody's unique and will have a
Yep.
unique need in terms of nutrition. But for me, as somebody who just looks to nature for what tells me what's healthy for humans overall, obviously not everybody, but overall, I look to nature to tell me what might be the place to focus. And for me, we talked about humans are not carnivores last time, and humans are not herbivores either. So you look at I mean, look at cows. They have the famous four stomachs. We do not. We have one. We don't have the grinding teeth that cows have. We don't have the physiology of an herbivore. So there are, I'm not going to say so many, but there are nutrients, there are certain vitamins and minerals, there are certain other nutrients that are not found in the plant kingdom. The nutrients that are lacking in the plant world that can only really be found in a way that humans can assimilate. Like I know there's different irons, heme iron and other irons. You can find iron in the plant world, but that heme iron is really the iron that humans do best with, and that's found in animals. So if you wanted to be, eschew the animal products, you really need to be mindful of making sure you get the supplements that will supplement these nutrients that you're not getting from your diet, because it's pretty impossible to get everything you need from food alone if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. There are a lot of things, so some of the B12,
B12, iron, omega-3 fats, and
you can get some of them, the omega-3s from like the flaxseed oil and stuff like that, but it's just not as assimilated as well as the ones you get from the fish and some of these other animal sources. So while I'm not saying it's impossible to be a healthy vegetarian, I think you need to be a lot more mindful about what you're taking in terms of nutrients. So that's I think that's an important factor to make sure you do that. And for me, then this is again totally just me. If you need to supplement from something other than your food, then it's not maybe the right diet for a human being. But if it works for you and you feel great, then that's really all that matters. Just know that there are things that you're going to need to supplement. And in terms of, like you were saying, your husband's friend, that so many, I see a lot of vegetarians, and I see this a lot with my clients and other friends, and they think as long as they're not eating animals, it's good for them.
yeah.
Oreos, all these other things that and these ultra processed foods. And for me, that's the problem. And there are a lot of causes for how sick Americans are, but honestly, the prevalence of ultra processed foods is a huge one. It's a huge factor. And so many vegetarians are like, well, it's
Uh,
plant-based, so it's fine. And even like the genius of marketing labels, it's, plant-based, and suddenly everybody says it's good for me, even though there's no real food or nutrients in that package of food. So I think that's another thing to be really aware of, that whether or not you eat animals, you still need to eat real food to get all your nutrients and to stay away from these ultra processed foods that the marketing
Processed is
companies are.
processed, whether
It's
it's plant-based or meat-based
exactly,
or yeah,
exactly.
yeah, too much. It's like if the ingredient list gets too long, then forget it.
Yeah, and they're I think we have spoken of this before, and these foods are specifically designed to be that way. They're designed to be addictive so that
Mhm.
you need to eat more and more and more. And on top of that, they have no nutrients in them, so you eat till you're full, which is a lot of food for these things, and your body's saying, "But wait, I didn't get this and this and this and this, so you better go eat some more to give me these nutrients." So not only is the food addictive, but your body is asking for more nutrients that you're not giving it in these ultra processed foods. So it's kind of this vicious cycle when you start to eat these things, and that's why there's so much obesity in this country, is because of these ultra processed foods that are just not giving you the nutrients you need. So I think it's important to remember that just because it's not an animal product doesn't necessarily mean it. You have to be just as mindful about what you're eating when you're a vegetarian as you do when you're an omnivore or anything else. And again, like I was talking to Joy earlier, for me personally, I don't know why we have to label how we eat. Why not just eat real food, whatever, and learn to pay attention to how your body feels when you eat it? Because, a meat heavy diet might be fine for me, but not for Joy. Or maybe, whatever. You have to learn to pay attention to your body and just eat food. Just eat real food. If you start to label yourself as something, then you get tied into this narrow focus of this is all I can eat. And it kind of takes away that freedom of choice and you start to feel restricted and all these other things when you don't need to feel that way. It's all
No,
just food. All you really, for me, all you should be
real
thinking of
food.
is this good for me?
Yeah.
Is this going to nourish me? And if it's not, if you want to eat that cake at the birthday party, that's fine too, as long as it's just not what you're eating every day. So eat what you want. Know that it might make you feel like crap. And if it's worth it to you, that's fine. If you don't want to feel like crap, don't eat it. Just eat food.
Eat food.
Don't be on a diet. Just enjoy your food.
It's true. It's not that complicated. My daughter had a friend who called herself a vegetarian, but once in a while she ate bacon because, who can resist bacon?
Right?
Dr. Mark Hyman, I was curious what he had to say about vegetarianism and stuff. And his philosophy, well, first of all, he came up with a pegan diet, which he combines, it's kind of a hybrid of paleo and vegan, focusing on whole, real foods. So, really, what we've been talking about, but also low glycemic load, healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, and nuts. And then he believes in eating about 70 to 80% of like veggies in your diet.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, why call it a pegan diet? Why do that? Why not just say eat real food
Uh,
and again, that the whole glycemic index thing is very deceiving because the same, like sugar isn't, it depends on your own personal physiology, the impact that's going to have on your body. So
right.
saying the food has a certain glycemic index is deceiving because it's not the same for everybody.
And
So
I
just,
think
again, don't call it a pegan diet, just eat real food. Just eat
yeah,
food
eat
and
food.
yeah, and don't
It's
complicate and don't make your focus so narrow like I can only eat the pegan diet. Just is this something that I can find out in the world? Yes. Okay, I'm going to eat it. Afterwards, do I feel good or do I feel bloated and yucky? These are the things that are important.
yeah, there you go. That's it.
So, yeah, and nuts, particularly things like avocados, even nuts can be problematic for some people. So to say that these are healthy and these aren't, the only thing that I can really say avoid at all costs whenever possible is ultra processed food.
Mhm.
The rest of it's kind of up for grabs, like Michael Pollan, Omnivore's Dilemma, he wrote. His advice is the best. He says, eat food, mostly plants, not too much.
Okay.
I add, eat real food, mostly plants, not too much. And honestly, if you eat mostly plants, it's pretty much impossible to eat too much because the plants will fill you up before you've eaten too much and you'll get all the nutrients you need. Yeah, Michael Pollan. But again, some people, depending on their own physiology and their own microbiome, some people do better with a little bit more meat heavy. Some people have lost some of those microbes that do the digesting of the vegetables. So you can get some of these, and again, they have to label every darn intestinal thing something different, but just call it intestinal distress. Why do you have to call it, colon, whatever? It's like it's something going on down there that shouldn't.
Right.
Something is wrong with your microbiome. Some people have lost some of those, whether it's through antibiotic use or toxic load, or whether they were born cesarean, whatever. There's myriad reasons that could happen. Don't digest the vegetables as well. So they may need to go through some sort of a protocol to help slowly reintroduce, particularly raw vegetables,
Yeah.
back into their diet. So they may do better on a more meat heavy. So to say that even plants, mostly plants, is always right for everybody, you can't even say that because
No.
we're all different.
And
So
you need, like you make your point, like you need to let your body adjust to or pay attention to what your body is telling you. Just because you can't eat that banana today, maybe another day you could, or
exactly,
that whatever that kale or whatever it is. And
exactly.
kale is a challenge for a lot of people to
Yeah,
digest
kale
anyways.
is not necessarily, it's not the health food people think it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyways.
story for another day.
All right. So I think this is good.
Oh, I did want to speak a little bit about the ethics involved in these because
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
a lot of people exclude animals because they don't want to hurt animals. And how the heck can you argue with that? I mean, you can't argue with the desire to not hurt animals. But here's my thoughts on that. First of all, like you mentioned, plants have feelings too. I think I think we talked about this in a previous episode, but I'm not sure. But in like scientists have hooked plants up to machines, and when you cut them, they scream.
Mhm.
I know with my plants, I always tell them ahead of time if I'm going to cut them and so that they can prepare. And they also recognize their caregivers. And when those caregivers go away, the plants know when they're coming back within up to a mile away. So tell
Amazing.
me plants don't have feelings too. It may not be something that we understand in a mammal, but to say they don't have feelings is not appropriate because they absolutely do. And they are part of this whole worldwide web of goodness, not the internet, but the worldwide web of
Mhm.
living things. We all support each other. We all are connected by this energetic amazingness that is life on this planet. So, and plants are a huge part of that. And they are probably the biggest part, that whole underground worldwide web of mycelium and roots and all these other
Oh,
things. It's magic.
have you
It's
watched Fantastic Fungi? Oh my
Oh,
God.
so we've watched it like 3 times.
Yeah,
It's
it's great.
Fantastic Fungi. I think it's on Netflix, right? It's if you haven't seen it, go now. We'll wait. Oh, seriously, go watch it. It's a great show. It's a great flick. But yeah, so plants are key and plants do in fact have feelings. On top of that, the people that don't want to eat animals, and I totally get that. I've been like when I was younger, I didn't like people. I only liked animals. So I've been an animal lover since I came out of the egg. So I'm all about the animals. And when I do eat meat, and I eat meat on a regular basis, but I get it from a regenerative local farm. And I know they honor the animals that they sacrifice. And I thank the animal for feeding me.
Mhm.
Totally just lost my train of thought.
But we need the ecosystem needs that balance.
Yes. So, yes, first of all, when you grow your plants, you have a big farm and you're growing your plants. Just the act of growing these plants kills animals. You're killing a lot of the local wildlife, whatever's been living there. Just the growing and harvesting of these plants does kill animals. Granted, it's not the same as a cow or anything like that. You might not have the emotional attachment to a squirrel that you have to a cow, but still, you are killing animals. Another aspect of that is without the animal on your farm, you can't create nutrient dense soil. It's the act of having the livestock on their farm. The hooves trample, they pat down the earth, and the manure they leave nourishes the soil. It's all a cycle. You can't have a healthy ecosystem to grow your vegetables without the animals. So sure, you don't have to eat them if you don't want. I totally understand that desire to not eat another living thing, but your plants are. But you can't really have a healthy farm without the animals as well as the plants. So it's all connected. It's all part of it. So if you still want to eschew meat, that's great. Do what works for you. Just know that if in your heart your reason for doing it is you don't want to hurt animals, is you may not be as innocent as you think.
Yeah.
You are doing probably more damage to animals than you may think because, oh, it's just a plant. So just keep that in mind, just as a thought. But again, I would, in terms of conventionally raised livestock, no,
No way.
just say no. It is cruel to the animals, it is cruel to the earth, and it doesn't produce meat that's good for you.
Mhm.
So it's going to poison you, it poison the earth, and it's cruel to the animals. So absolutely be conscious and thoughtful about the meat that you do choose. I support that personally 100%. I didn't even plan this, but
Oh,
I have
farmer's footprint.
my farmer's footprint.
Regenerating food
It
systems.
says regenerating food systems to restore human and planetary health. I forgot I even had that
Oh,
on. And I was just like, oh, so yeah, see, this is this, and it says hope grows here on the back. Yeah, so as much as you can, be thoughtful about the meat you do eat. Try to know where it came from, and if you support how they grew that animal, these CAFOs, these concentrated animal feeding operations, not good. They're horrible, horrible, horrible. And when they talk about, livestock poisoning the air and the earth, that's what they're talking about. Not cows in general. It's these
mhm.
concentrated feeding operations. That's what's killing the earth and killing the air and killing the water. Yeah, if you want to, eat responsibly with your animals, stay away from those. And I know it's still hard to find regenerative meat because it's still in its infancy, but hopefully more people will realize. And if we can get the government on board and spend the billions in the farm bill on regenerative farms instead of paying for corn and all that. Anyway, again, topic for another day. But I did want to mention those couple of things, just to something to keep in mind as you're deciding what eating habits work for you. And again, I'm not going to say what diet. The whole diet mind frame, because I know particularly if you're looking into nutrition because of weight loss, most people go on diets with the expectation of someday going off the diet.
Yeah.
And then you go back to what you were doing before, put the weight back on, whatever, your insulin levels are still all over the place. So my goal with my clients and the people I talk to is don't go on a diet for many reasons, but not least of which because you're not going to go off a diet. You want to find a sustainable way of eating that you can do forever and ever. That's You want to just change how you eat. You don't want to go on a diet or even follow necessarily a specific diet because that word diet still has that there's an end in mind, and there shouldn't be an end. There's iterations and there's changes, and you may change and fluctuate in how and what you eat, but it's not you're going to eat this way for a certain length of time and then stop.
And
So
focus
you
on what
want
you can eat, what you enjoy eating, what makes you feel good, what's good for you, instead of getting like negative about it. Like, oh, I can't eat that anymore. I can't that. Well, like you said, once in a while, maybe you can have that piece of cake or something. But
Yeah, exactly.
it,
It's that sense of deprivation that leads to failure.
yeah,
If you're going to tell yourself, "Oh, why do they get to eat it and I don't?" Well, you can eat it.
yeah,
Just do it mindfully, and if you're going to eat it, know the consequences and enjoy it anyway if that's what you want to do. Or say not today, maybe tomorrow, but not today. Whatever works for you. So it's important to just and also, and I think this is going to be one of our episodes. I don't know if it'll be next time or farther down the line, but we are going to talk about not only what you eat, but when you eat.
Hmm.
So the amount of the when you eat during the day or during the week is just as important, particularly for insulin levels and cellular health, as what you eat. So we are going to talk about fasting. One of our episodes will be fasting, and I'm a huge proponent of different levels of fasting in your life. I think it's key. I think humans evolved to spend a lot of time not eating anything. So we're going to talk about that, and I just wanted to reiterate that it's not just what you eat, but when you eat.
when you
So
eat.
we'll be visiting that somewhere down the line too. So anything else to
All
add?
right, awesome. No, I think we should wrap that up and look forward to talking to you again. And this was good. I learned some things every time I talk to you.
Oh, I'm glad. Yeah. So if you enjoyed, please give us a thumbs up. I hope you got something out of this episode. We really enjoy putting these out for you, and we hope it helps or that you enjoy it. And if you have any questions or anything in particular that you would like us to dive into, we'd be happy to do that. Just leave a comment, share it with your friends.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. See you around the corner.
Ready? Bye.
Bye.